Welcome to Assault Learn and Play Part 3, Chapter 6, Sequence of Play. In the parts before we learned about the game components, rules, logic and of course game preparation. Now we go into the sequence of play chapter, Chapter 6. So the sequence of play will set out in phase order how the game is played and include all the rules required to play them. There are two exceptions. There is a support phase and action phase. This chapter will just provide the players with an overview of these two phases because of the number of rules associated with them. So the general sequence of play is following the logic of initiative phase. In this phase, each turn begins with initiative phase, and in this phase the starting player will be determined by a d6 standard dice roll. The player with the highest roll is the starting player. After the initiative phase, if you play with the optional rules for command points and command cards, you will have a planning phase. During the planning phase, each faction has a number of command points and command cards, and you can use the command points to assign your units which you want to activate during the next game turn or the actual game turn. You can redraw your command cards, so if you have, or you can discard not used command cards and draw new ones up to your hand limit, which is normally 3. After the planning phase, players go directly into the support phase. And the support phase is described in Chapter 7 in detail, but now just for overview. In the support phase, all units with a yellow hexagon and a white S inside marked are support units. They can do actions during this phase. Also, artillery may change its phasing for free. It's not an activation during the support phase. So you can align your artillery guns to a different orientation. Also, you can use command cards. You can activate units for indirect fire, you can activate units for firing smoke, or you can use special abilities which are done during the support phase. If no action is done in the support phase, the sequence goes directly to the action phase. And this is the main phase, or the most important part of a turn. In this phase, both factions will attempt to reach the victory conditions, and therefore you have to activate your units. When playing without optional command points, player can activate all of their units. And therefore you have a variety of actions you can do. You can, of course, do special actions like pass. You can do a non-active player reaction. You can do movement actions, reinforcement, hide actions, dig in, firing, turret firing, movement fire, close combat, or playing cards. It is up to you what you want to do during the action phase. But, important, only one activation per unit, per turn. Exceptions may be possible by command cards, but normally only one unit, one action per turn. If all units done or players are passing, then the organization phase starts. And therefore this is a really important phase to do. In this phase, all the action and status markers are organized, following a standard procedure which is described in Chapter 6.5. So first of all, remove all white background status markers. Then turn all yellow markers or flip all yellow background markers to reverse side. All green status markers remain in the hex. Exchange or leave hidden status markers with red ambush, and all red status markers remain on their units. Then reduce the number of smoke by 1. The turn marker is advanced 1 space, and the objective marker for all objective hex are flipped to the side of the faction occupying them. If there are no units occupying, the objective hex marker will stay. That's it. It is important to follow these steps, otherwise you can get in trouble by knowing the status of each unit in the following turn. Of course, then you check for victory conditions, and then, probably described in the scenario description, you can place possible upcoming reinforcements. That's so far for the sequence of play.